Hey guys, welcome to another computer application tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to have a look at the Prelim 2021. I'm going to do a walkthrough the whole paper. We are starting this particular video with just question 1. Hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so we're going to start off by having a look at the paper. If you want to get your hands on this paper and the data files that I'm currently working with, have a look down in the description. There will be a link where you can go and download a folder that will contain both. Alright, so something different. The paper is now out of 150, still 3 hours, so we should see the results increasing and being a little better. Alright, let's go down all the way to our first question, and here we have a scenario, and it starts off by saying air travel is a form of travel in airplanes, jets, helicopters, hot air balloons, gliders, parachutes, or anything else that can sustain flight. The use of air travel has greatly increased in recent decades. Alright, so question 1. It says that a document has been created to give interesting facts about airports. Open the One World word processing document and insert your name and surname in the footer. So let us do that first. You'll go into your file structure, double click, and there we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is go to the footer of the first page. I'm going to just scroll down to the footer. There we go, and I'm going to double click to open it up. Name and surname. Just pay attention. When you do this in your final practical exam though, none of your names should show up on your paper. You need to use your exam number. Alright, so now that that is done, I can double click back in the main part of the document and I'm back in the original part of the document. So that was the first instruction. That wasn't for marks. And here we go. Let's start with the ones that actually count. It says add the author Brent Pascus to the properties of the document. Alright, so inside the document we need to go to File, and under File there's an Info tab, and inside there you will see here it says Properties. If you look through these properties, there we'll see Author, and the name Brent Pascus gets typed in there. Okay, and as soon as I click away from that text box, you'll see it adds him into the authors. Okay, so that was the first question and 1 mark. Now it says modify the cover page as follows. Change the font size of the heading. These are the 15 coolest things at the airport around the world to 48 pt. So the first thing we're doing is changing the font size. So let's go and do that quickly. This is the heading they're referring to. I'm going to go to my font size and say 48. Alright, now the second bullet says that we need to vertically align the heading to the center of the cover page. The keyword here is vertically. So horizontally is when you move from one side of the page to the other. So that's horizontal. So if I was centering it horizontally, I'd center it and it would be placed in the middle. So for horizontal, this is the one that I would use, but they want a vertical. So before I do this, I need to first check to see if this page has a section break, because when I change this particular attribute, or when I change this particular setting, it will apply to all the pages if I don't have this sectioned off. So what I need to do is switch on my show and hide, and there I can see that there is a section break that's been added. So if I add or align this vertically, you will notice that only this page will change. So in order to do that, we need to go to layout. We now need to go to page setup, because this is now affecting the page, and it's the layout of the page. Over here you'll see it says vertical alignment, and currently it's set to top. That's why it starts at the top when you start typing. So what we're going to do here is say center, and it places the text in the center vertically. If I zoom out a little bit just to show you, you'll see that that page, it starts in the center, and because of the section break, you'll see table of contents starts on the top still. Alright, so far so good. Next one we're going to be looking is 1.3, and it says we need to modify the heading to style as follows. So we need to expand the character spacing to 1.1 pt. Then we need to add any glow texture effect to the style, and lastly we need to rename the style to airports. Okay, so there's three things we need to remember. Let us go to our home tab, go to the styles, and then I'm going to right click and say modify. Okay, so heading 2, that's the current name. Remember, they want us to change this to airports. Alright, so that is done. Then under format, under font, we need to go and change the spacing. So we're going to find that under advanced, and you'll see a spacing. They want it expanded, and they want it expanded at 1.1 pt. There we go. And then the last thing they wanted was the glow effect. So this is here by text effects. This one is the text effect tab, and then there's shadow, reflection, there's the glow, and I can just pick one of these presets over here. Anyone will do. Click on OK, click on OK, and there it's done. You can see it's changed the name to airports, and the formatting is applied to the heading. So now when you come across any headings that are formatted to this, you will see that they're going to have that glow around them. Alright, so that was 3 marks. Now what we're going to do is insert page numbers anywhere in the header as follows. So we're going to start the page numbering on the second page with a 1, and then display only the even pages. Okay, so let's go into our document. Let's go to the second page, because that's the page they want us to start working with, and that's this one here. I'm going to double click in the header, and you'll see it takes me to my header and footer tools, and here I've got page numbers. I'm going to say I want it at the top because that's the header, and they didn't stipulate as to what it needs to look like, so I'm just going to pick the first one and not waste my time. Now as I do that, automatically the number will realize it's on page 2 and put a 2. So what I need to do is right click on that field, go to format page numbers, and the question says it needs to start on 1, like that. When I say OK, let's go back to that page. You'll see this is page, the first page. This should be page 1. The number's not currently there, but if we move down to even pages, there is a page 2. So this page above here is page 1. It just doesn't show up because we changed it to a 1. Alright, so that is how you do these page numbers. Very easy, we didn't have to do anything else. Okay, so that was done. One 1.5 is asking us to insert an automatic table of contents on the second page below the heading table of contents in the classic style. Show only 2 levels. Alright, so we need to insert a content table. We need to make sure that it is in the classic style, and it must only show 2 levels. So we are going to go here to table of contents. Under references on the far left you will find table of contents, and we're going to go down to custom table of contents. Okay, so here formats, we're going to change that to classic. So we've got an automatic table in already, we've got it set to classic. Now we just need to make sure that we're only showing 2 levels. There we go. So okay, and that's done. All right. 1.6 says find the table below the heading airport attraction and make the following changes. Okay, so let's do this one at a time. So change the height of the first row to exactly 1 centimeter. Let's go and find that table. Here we go, airport attractions. I'm going to just put my cursor in the first row, go here to layout, and then you see the height. I'm going to change that to exactly 1 centimeter. The next bullet says that we need to apply banded rows to the table style. So let's go and do that quickly. So once we're in the table over here, we're going to go to the design, and under design here we've got table style options. We're going to look for banded rows. So here we go, banded rows. We tick the box and there it puts the banded rows in. You can see this color is slightly darker than the next one. These are the banded rows. Alright, now it says add an automatic caption with the text Spain to the Adolf Zurich Madrid airport picture. That's row 9. So the text must be Spain and it must be an automatic caption. So let us scroll down to that row 9. Okay, as you can see, this is the row that we need to be working with. I click on the picture. I'm going to go to my references and then click on insert caption. You'll see that figure 9 is already put there for me. I push space, Spain, and then I click on OK. It's going to put it at the bottom like the rest. Alright. Let us have a look at the last. It says add a formula in the last cell of the last row to calculate the average level of interest. Okay, so let's do that first. We're going to go here to this last cell. Let me just move it up so you can see it. Okay, now I've selected the cell. I'm going to go to my layout and you'll see here under data it says formula, so you can click on that. Now right now it says equals sum, so what it will do is it will take all these numbers above it and add them together. We don't want that. What we want is to insert an average. I took the equals away, equals average, and then inside this bracket we need to tell that cell that I want you to calculate the average above using the numbers that are above. So there we go. If I click on OK, you'll see it's going to give me a result of 4.7. So that is perfect. But if we look at the question here, it says ensure that no decimal place is displayed. So let us go and make sure that we do not have a decimal place. So right now it's 4.7. So let's fix that. So we click on formula again. And then over here where it says number format, this is where we make the change, and we click on 0. Okay, and you'll see it will say 5. So the decimal now has been rounded up. Alright guys, now we're going to be moving on to question 1.7, and it says find the numbered list below the heading things people lose at airports. Define and apply a new multi-level list so that it appears as follows. So this is what they want it to look like. Okay, and just pay attention to what the number looks like. At the moment it's got a dot there, and then this level here it's got a 1.1. Right, so those are the two types of levels that we need to create. So let us go into our Word document and find that numbered list first. Okay, so there we go. This is the numbered list that they're looking for. So I select the list. I'm going to go here to my multi-levels, and I'm going to say that I want to define a new multi-level. Alright, so when I click on the first one, that's the first level, you'll see that it's got this round bracket. I don't want the bracket, I want the dot. Be careful not to delete the field. So make sure the gray field stays in and just delete the bracket and add the 1 there. Now moving on to level 2. At level 2, I want this to still be numbers. Okay, and I wanted to include the number from level 1 as well. So there we go, and in between them I want there to be a dot, and then I remove the bracket. When I click on OK, you will notice that the brackets disappear, but we have a problem. This says 1 2 3 4 5, and if you have a look at your example in your test, it's 1 and then it's got 1.1, 1.2. So from glasses all the way to passports, that has to be in a second level. So what we need to do is use the tab key and hit the tab key to move these items into the second level, and you'll see that it will then change. Alright, then this is number 2, so that stays like that, and then this is another level 2, level 2, and there we go. Alright, so that is done. Let us go and have a look at the question quickly. Take note of the mark allocation. It is 4. Now we went and we changed this first one, so that's great. We got 1 mark there. We changed and created this level 2 the way it needs to be. That's another mark. We then went into our list once it was created and hit the tab key to set these things all up in the right way. So that's the 3rd mark, but it says it's 4. So either they're going to give us a mark for something that we're not aware of, or there's something else with the spacing that we might need to fix. So pay attention to where the G is. You'll see it's in line with the L. And over here, the G is much closer to the number, in line with the E here. So we need to move it out. So we have to change the spacing over here. I'm going to click on the list again. I'm going to go to my multi-level list button, go down to define, and the one I need to change is level 2. So I click on level 2. I'm going to go down here to the bottom where it says text indexed at, and I'm just going to increase the number a little bit to 1.7. I'm going to say OK, and there we go. Can you see how this is all lined up exactly like the question? Alright, so please make sure you have a look at your mark allocation. You've done 3 things. What's the 4th one? Look carefully at the picture. We don't want to lose that mark unnecessarily. Alright, 1.8 now is the last question here. And let's have a look at the 3 bullets separately. So the first one says, add the corporate author Bex, J to the airport of the world source. So what we're going to do, we need to go into references. They mentioned the source, so we need to go into our manage sources, and we will see all the sources that they're referring to. The first one was airport of the world, and the author, just so you remember here, is Bex, J, and they said corporate author. So I've selected that source. I'm going to say edit. I'm then going to tick the box that says corporate author, and over here I'm going to type in Bex, and capital J. That is done. I say OK. The next thing we're going to look at is to change the type of the understanding airport source to a report. So they want us to change that source to a report. So here, understanding airports, let's edit that. And if you look here at type of source, it's currently a journal article. They want it as a report, so you click on there and select report and say OK. And then the last bullet here asks us to add an automatic bibliography on the last page in the APA format. Alright, so let's go and do that quickly. We can now close this. Let's go and look for the last page where it says bibliography. There it is there. In the space provided here for us, we can place the cursor there, and we are going to go to style, and we have to change the style to APA. That's the style they want. Then we go to bibliography. We say insert bibliography, and there we go. It inserts the bibliography for us. All the sources that have been created within the document come up in the bibliography. Alright guys, so that was 24. That is the end of this tutorial. with the question 1. Please stay tuned for the tutorials that are for question 2 and going on for the rest of the paper. Bye for now.